How are you?
I am wonderful, Yurmi. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me. It's such a pleasure and honor having you on my YouTube channel today with me. I've seen a lot of your stuff. I've seen that you're very active on social media, and I know that you also have been to a lot of podcast shows. So,
Yes.
today we will be discussing a little bit about you and the work that you do. And I know that you have a book. So, let's start with you telling us a little bit about yourself and also who you are, basically.
Sure. I am a professional speaker. I'm also a certified world-class speaking coach as well. I have been helping individuals find their greatness and find their voices for over a decade now, teaching them the intricate skills on how to effectively communicate and become great leaders, whether in the organizations that they work for or just on their own selves, learning how to communicate well and be able to show who they really are out there. I've been doing this for quite some time now, and obviously I have worked with many individuals and corporations. And on a personal level, I have went to the World Championship of Public Speaking and placed third in the world. So that there has allowed me to take the skills and the experiences that I have and teach others.
So, I also know that you are a Toastmaster member. I think I see the Toastmasters, I see them on the background. You're also a
Yes,
podcast host, co-host, and you also are a TEDx speaker.
that's right. That's
Yes.
right. We have a podcast called Great Convos that happens every Monday on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. It is live at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Nice. So I do want to speak mainly about your book, and I can see it is right there in the background. And I know that in this book you give a lot of tips, public speaking skills, tips that are not often heard about. So first of all, I want to start a little bit about how you decided to create this book, what inspired you to, publish the book, and also what are some tips that we often don't hear about. It's very easy to say, oh yeah, you have to be good at like body language, you have to use pauses and things like that, but I also want to hear something from your perspective that are not so common.
Sure, I'll try to package that all up really quickly. Victoria and I are both Toastmasters. We had never met each other in person. It had always been online through various social medias. And we finally met last year at a convention for Toastmasters. It was the first time meeting. While talking, it felt like we had known each other forever. And she had said to me, look, I've always had this idea and I wanted to talk to you about it, but never had thought about the right time until now. And she was the one that initially came up with the idea and said, hey, I would love to do a book with you. I have done multiple TEDx talks, and you have done TEDx talks, and plus you have also been on the world stage for Toastmasters International. Would you be interested in doing something like that, teaching people different tips and tricks on it? And it was, I think, about 3 seconds before I said, sure. I had always wanted to write a book. In fact, I was thinking of doing that already. And this idea was something that was right down my path, being able to give back in a way that would last a lifetime for others. So this is how it all started. And when it comes to different tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, one of the main things that I will tell you that has nothing to do with all of those intricate tools that you need to do. It's knowing an audience. It's understanding where you're going to be speaking and who you're speaking to. This is critical because a lot of people don't do that. They have a speech, they have it ready, they know exactly what they want to say, and they just assume that wherever they go, that speech will work. And that is a critical mistake that a lot of speakers coming up do. They've got to understand who they're going to be speaking to, and if that particular speech that they want to do is catered to that audience.
Yes. So about the book, because you said this, you have never met this other author. So how was it to write the book? Like you guys sat together? Did you guys decide that, okay, I'm gonna work on these things and you work on the other things? Because I'm assuming it's hard to coordinate with someone else when it comes to creating something. So how did you manage to do it? And because you said you have never met this person, do you both live in the same city? How did you build the trust that, this is the person I want to work with? Because it's hard, I feel.
Of course. I mean, you have to have that feeling, that inner feeling that you have to have when you meet someone. I've always said that normally you will know if you jive with somebody within that first minute of talking to them. There's a symmetry that comes when you speak to somebody for the first time. Because I had known who she was and we had always been supportive online of each other's content and stuff like that, when I met her, it was more of a, wow, it's finally good to see you type of thing. And in that first minute, talking to her, it felt, again, like I had known her forever based on everything that she had been doing online and I had been doing. Victoria lives in Germany. So yes, it's not the same. I'm in Toronto. So it's not the same. It was to most people, it would probably be very difficult to do this, but we consistently communicated through WhatsApp and had conversations talking about what she wanted to bring to the book and what I wanted to bring to the book. And it just worked. So we would share what we were doing and putting it together. It was a masterpiece. It was a wonderful feeling to be able to have that type of symmetry with somebody so far away.
And how long did it take you to finish the book and publish it?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I would say for myself, because my schedule was so busy throughout the last few months, like we met in August and we finished the book in April or March.
We're talking about August 2024?
2024.
Okay.
And we completed the book in March. Sorry.
Okay.
In March, we completed the book. And more of it was because I had things doing, and so I couldn't put in the time right away. She was a go-getter, and this is what I got to give her a huge shout out. She was such a go-getter right away. She was on it, sending information, getting things organized. My team was there to help as well, to try to get us to coordinate all of the necessary things that had to be done. And then it was just for me to sit down. And once I started writing and started putting my thoughts together, it became very easy and the process was very smooth overall.
Nice. So I want to talk a little bit about the book, because you said one of the things is to know your audience. But for anyone who wants to read your book, okay, why should they pick your book? Because there are a lot of public speaking books out there, and what can they expect from your book? Like, do you have any, let's say, workbook within your book or exercises that people can do if they want to conquer that fear of public speaking?
Yes, we do, Yuri. In our book is a very simplified version of how you can effectively go on any stage and speak. Now, it is for the person who is just starting, and it's also for the person who has had a lot of experience. It gives them the tools, the necessary tools and exercises to go through so that they can learn how to build their skills even more. From the perspective on TEDx, Victoria goes through step-by-step processes on how to get on that stage, what you need to do, what is necessary in putting that speech together to go on that stage. From my perspective, I use a bit of the TEDx because I've known it, but I also teach you all of the different things that you need when you're going on a world champion stage, or if you're presenting in front of an audience or at work doing presentations. We give you small step-by-step information and tools, but it's simplified so that anyone can know how to do it. And there are exercise pages that allow you to write in there and learn how to do some of those different techniques.
So there was something that caught my attention about your book, because you speak about something which is the 626.
626 rule.
Yeah, the 626 rule, which is something that I have never heard about, and I want you to tell us about it.
Sure. This is a rule that I brought this up, and it's not that it hasn't been done before. It's a reinvention of the wheel, so to speak. But the 626 rule essentially is that you have 6 seconds to gain the attention of an audience and 26 to keep it. Now, within 30 seconds, an audience will know whether they want to continue listening to you or not. I love using the 626 because it's easy to remember for people to have it in their heads. But generally speaking, audiences, especially nowadays where our attention span is very small and short, people want to be able to say, do I want to listen to this person speak? And they will know within 30 seconds whether they do. So the idea is to come out very strong with your speeches. Have something that really grabs the audience's attention right away. And, in Toastmasters, when you're first starting off, they'll say, bring a quote or ask a nice question, something that captivates their mind. I challenge people to say, find something that really, really makes the audience go, oh my God, I want to know what's next. So that's what I often tell people. Remember the 626 rule. You have 6 seconds to gain the attention of the audience and 26 to keep it.
So to follow up on that, because I'm also a member of Toastmasters, and they do say, ask a question at the beginning, start with the quote, start with the fact. What would you say is a strong opening? Like, what would your secret be when it comes to getting the attention of the audience right in those 6 seconds?
Oftentimes, I will try to start with a dramatic part of my speech. So in other words, I would take them to the middle, but not give them all of the facts. So it's only a hint of what's going on in that drama or conflict part of my speech, so that they're wondering, what's going on? And then bring them back and then tell the story that leads up to that point. So they've got a little bit of a clue as to, oh my God, what's going on here? What's happening here? One of my speeches that I start off with was, again, my world champion semifinal speech, where I said, as the rain cascaded onto the windshield of the car, I quickly tried to gain control of it by placing one hand on the steering wheel, the other physically wiping the fog that had formulated on the glass. Suddenly, I could feel the vehicle veering to the left, then right, then sputtering, stalling, and stopping on the side of the road. Right there, you have no idea what's going on other than something happened to him. What happened? So I've caught their attention right away, and now I tell the story. So I bring them back and I share the story that leads to that point. Now, can it always work that way? For the most part, you can. You could find something within your story and grab their attention by hinting on what it possibly is or what can be happening, so that it gets them to say, okay, I need to know what happened in that moment.
Yeah, this is what they do a lot with movies and TV shows. They usually, yes, I pay attention to that. They usually show you basically the meat, of the story, and then they go back in time, or actually no, they basically show you the meat of the story, and then they go to the present, and then they show you like how something happened. And I did hear about this tip that you just shared in a podcast that I listened to, which is about public speaking. So I have one last question, and I want you to tell us your top 3 tips when it comes to public speaking. I know you already shared, knowing your audience, having a great opening, but if you had to, share with us your top 3, what would they be?
Number 1, humanize yourself. Be very authentic in when you speak. No one wants a perfect speaker. They want to be able to connect with you. So always remember that even though you may have success as a speaker, or you're just starting off, being authentic is one of the single most important parts of being a speaker, because that's what we connect to first. Right? I often say that even with regards to stories, and sharing your stories with people. Your stories are the gateway to your soul and the pathway to an audience's heart. Once they can feel part of you in your speech, in your story, they are more susceptible to connect with you than if you just sit from a pulpit standpoint and talk down to us about what we need to do. So that's the first thing. Number two, remember that your stories can move people in ways that you have never imagined. Never feel or fear sharing your stories and being vulnerable about them, because you never know who is in the audience that needs to hear it. I will often tell people, I am not interested in having everybody love me and pat me on my shoulder and say, good job, good job. More times than not, what makes me feel like my job was done is if one person or a few people come over and say, that moved me, that resonated with me. I needed to hear that. I'm going through something very similar, or I know somebody who's going through something like that. And your story allowed me to know that there is a hope. That to me as a speaker means so much to me that, it supersedes the big accolades. Even though, yes, we love that. We love it as our ego wants to know that we've touched the whole room and it's fun. But it's those one or two people or so that come up to you afterwards and say, that's what I needed. And the third thing that I would always tell everyone when it comes to public speaking is know how to, as I put it, land the plane. I put that it's in my speech, in my book, sorry. It is in the book. And that is ending your speeches strong, leaving your audience with the main point and the main message that you want them to take away after you are finished. As speakers, we don't want to just be remembered in that moment. We want to be remembered for our messages for days, weeks, months, and years to come. The greatest speeches that you have heard, you could still remember something from it because it was powerful. But when you're landing that plane, you want those last words that you say to be the words that they remember. Kind of like what I said in the beginning, how humans are not always very quick to remember a lot. So the last words, always make sure that they are powerful. In that same speech that I was talking about, I said, don't wait until it's too late, were the last words I said in that speech. If you want to look at it, go online, it's on YouTube. It's called Didn't See It Coming. But that is the speech where I talk about a story where I did not take care of something. So I don't want to give it away. Didn't take care of something. And, that was the lesson that was learned. So I left that to the end and leave it powerful. So there are your 3 tips. Humanize yourself, know your stories and know the power of your stories, and land the plane.
Love them. I love the tips. I think those were great tips, and I think these are the best tips I've heard this so far. So really, I want to thank you for sharing all of those 3 tips, because they're very practical and easy. I think we always seek for perfection when it comes to giving a speech. We tend to memorize a speech, but I think, like you said, give a powerful message. Make sure that you are showing your emotions. People are able to connect with you. The humanization part of it. I think those are very, very, very important. I'm not even sure if the word I said it was right or not, but
humanize yourself.
Humanize yourself. There you go. So Roger, I want to thank you for doing this with me. I know you have a very busy schedule, but before I let you go, tell us how people can connect with you and where people can find your book.
Yes, for sure. You can connect with me. First of all, my website is Roger Caesar. I'll spell it out so that it's not mistaken. It's CAESAR. CAESAR, RogerCaesar.com. I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube and Instagram. On Instagram, my handle is Caesar.empire. And of course, the book is out on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. Just look up Speak to Inspire, put my name in, and it'll pop up. And I'd love for everyone to go on and get the book and be inspired to go out and speak and find your greatness.
Thank you, Roger, for coming on my channel today. I want to thank you for doing this with me. It was such an honor and pleasure. And once again, thank you and see you next time.
Take care of yourself.